Salamat po. It's hot. Kung natalab sa sapatos, hindi kaya matunaw yung aeroplano. Secretary of Labor and Employment Silvestre Bellio III, Acting Secretary of Foreign Affairs Enrique Manalo, and the other members of the cabinet present. Congressman Anicito Bertiz, the representative, ACTS OFW Party List. Ambassador Alan Timbayan, baka nandoon na. Mayor Inday Sara Duterte Carpio. Is my daughter here? I'd be most surprised if she is here. Fellow workers in government, my beloved countrymen. I'll just read my speech. We are running out of time. I live today to embark on a mission to forge deeper and more meaningful and more positive engagements with the Middle East. There is much at stake in the Philippines' relations with the Middle East. It is the global center of traditional energy resources. It is a source of investments with potential of much growth. It is an expanding market for Philippine key political products and services, and it is home to the largest group of Filipinos working overseas. With shared strategic interests and deep and abiding ties that go above and beyond the formal relationships with the states, the importance of reinforcing our country's ties with the Middle East cannot be overstated. The first leg of my trip will take me to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, where I will have the honor of meeting His Majesty King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, custodian of the two holy mosques. It is and will be an important and valuable opportunity to reaffirm the lasting friendship and seek ways to further broadening cooperation, particularly in political security and defense, trade and investments, anti-narcotics, labor, energy, education, and culture. From Riyadh, I will proceed to the Kingdom of Bahrain, where I will have the opportunity to meet King Hamad bin Isa al-Khalafi in Manama. With the special ties between our two countries, I shall seek to expand the frontiers of friendship and tap into the converging interests in order to intensify two-way trade and investments, seek greater political security, cooperation, and exchange to increase trade and commerce. Following Bahrain, I shall proceed to Doha, where I will meet Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Ahmad Al Thani in Doha of the state of Qatar. The third leg of my trip will be no less engaging. There is always much explored to make the bilateral relations even more vibrant as they are. We will seek greater political security cooperation, collaboration in the field of health and culture. It is on top of this agenda of spurring two-way trade and investments. This will be my first meeting with the esteemed leaders of the states and the Gulf. I will seek to support for efforts to bring just and lasting peace in Mindanao. I also look forward to exchanging views with them on regional security issues, promoting intercultural dialogue and the Philippines' efforts at community building in ASEAN. While in the Middle East, I will meet the Filipino communities. I am excited to see them and thank them for their support for our efforts to bring reform and change in our country. As I have done in the past visits, I will report the progress immediately upon my return to the Philippines. Our people in Batangas are still reeling from the damage brought by the recent earthquake and reported incidents of collapsed walls of residential houses and buildings and landslide. We are, however, relieved that no deaths have been reported despite the reported number of aftershocks. The concerned citizens of government have immediately responded to give relief and ease the suffering of the affected residents by conducting evacuation, clearing of landslides along roads, and dispatching ready-to-eat foods. We are thankful to the national and local agencies of ensuring that the effects of disaster are mitigated. While the assessment of damages by the provincial government still continues, I have directed the national agencies to accelerate the delivery of services and hasten the rehabilitation of the affected public infrastructures and utilities. Rest assured, our government is on top of the situation. I have personally ordered that relief operations be undertaken immediately to restore normalcy in the affected areas as soon as possible. With what has transpired, and join all Filipinos, let us always be prepared for disaster. And now, I can maybe entertain 100 questions so that we will arrive on time in Riyadh.
Mr. President, we have a question from Eddie Regalado of the Philippine Star.
Gusto ko inquirer, pati ABS-CBN.
Mr. President, good afternoon. Sir, recently, U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping have agreed on a 100-day plan that they're going to tackle U.S.-China trade relations, as well as enhancing the military ties between the two countries. Would it affect your foreign policy towards the two countries? And the next question, ano ko na lang sa'yo para dire-diretso. Next is, U.S. attacked Syria and Putin warned of perhaps a renewed war because of the U.S. attack against Syria. So what's your take on this? And the third question is,
Ano ba ito? Hindi pala question yan.
sige sir, ano na lang sa'yo?
Your predicate is your question, and the question is the predicate. So what is it?
Teka sir, yung sa kay Trump at kay
But that would be a welcome development.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I've been praying that the two would get together and talk about really what ails this planet, and talk about peace only and stop violence all over the world. Dito sa ating on the east side, there's still a raucous there, and the parties in contention are China, Vietnam, could be later on Indonesia, Taiwan. No, they are trying to position themselves strategically. And I'd like to address myself to the Chinese government and the kaibigan natin si Ambassador. I ordered the occupation of the 10 or 9 islands that are just near our shores because there's a heightening of the geopolitical issues, and eventually maybe a violent low-intensity war over here. Kung sa Africa yon, wala akong problema. Kung sa Europe, but the problem it is in the China Sea or the West Philippine Sea. At kung mag-upakan sila dyan, tayong walang kamuang-muang, talagang matatamaan tayo kasi everybody knows that the United States will be stockpiling their weapons there. And hindi yan, sabi nila hindi raw, pasalamat ako kung hindi because I do not want to get involved in a war between nations. I have extended my hand and friendship to the Chinese government. Kindly take a deep look at the situation. everybody's grabbing every land, every islet and every whether man-made. And nearest to us are the 10 islands. And I have it on good authority. They're going to place their shoulder to surface and shoulder to air. Pag ginawa yan, either of these, including America, mapapasubo tayo ng palapit tayo ng palapit. So, for the information of China, we will not place there any offensive weapons, not even one gun. We're just there to claim the island for us, because that is really ours. And I have ordered the armed forces to build structures there to signify to all na atin ito at lagyan ng flag and structures. We did not mean no harm to China. We are friends, as a matter of fact. And maybe when we get rich, very rich, I can sell the land to you for inyo na, when the spectacle of a war is gone, nothing is dangerous to the Philippines. But for as long as the raucous continues, and I said, I have heard, and believe me, that may maglagay dyan ng mga battery of missiles, shoulder fired to surface. Hindi ako papayag niyan. Kaya sabi ko, occupy and claim it as ours. China can relax. We are friends. We will not go to war with you. We're just trying to maintain the balance of the geopolitical situation there. Eh, lahat kumukuha eh. Tapos, those islands are vacant. And with the developments of the fast rate of arms being placed there, baka maunahan pa ako at mapapasubo ako. But to all and sundry, yung dyan na inoccupy natin, atin na yan. That's ours. And we'll hang on to it. The Binham Park, yung Binray, Bihansa Rise, on the other side, they'll be facing Tugigaraw. That's also ours. And I will be signing an executive order, maybe when I come back, renaming it the Philippine Ridge or the Philippine Rise. Ridge mas maganda because it connects one to another and it threatens the claim sa loob ng ating continental ridge. So yan ang ano ko. I'm claiming both the 10 or 9 at saka yung Vietnam Rise. I will rename it Philippine Ridge as our exclusive property.
Sir, another question po. Sir, tanong lang po. Is the Duterte House or the Duterte Cabinet in shambles given that there is a perception of infighting among your closest of men?
No,
That
there is
po-
no.
ano-
I'm sorry, you have been informed, like the fired. There is no infighting, there's no rock, there's no trouble there. I just don't like people who are corrupt. Yung babae, dadaldal, may nag-apply ng importation. No? Ang barita with Tara. Jason Aquino, he is a military man. Actually, he was the very first to come to Davao 3 years ago to urge me to run. Nilagay ko siya dyan. Dininay niya. Of course, there was this loose talk about the offer per Caban. It was appealed to the higher office is really the office of the president.
Yes.
Na? Okay. It never reached my desk. I was taught to notice, but I let the cabinet decide it kung nasa cluster nila. They overruled Jason, allowed the importation, and ito yung babaeng si Valdez signed, approved the importation. Alam mo, hindi yan inyo. When it is office of the president, you meet there and make the recommendation. I will decide to grant or disapprove it, the appeal. Kasi ginanon. And the protocol, the procedure, the official procedure should be, isauli mo sa akin yan with the recommendation, then I will sign it.
Yes, sir.
Until dapat na sinasabi ko sa iyo. You are not the office of the president. Why should you be mayor? Magandang hapon po. So, dumating rin. Nguban ka? Oh. When it is appealed to the office of the president from the departments, doon yan sa agencies, if it is, ang NH, yung RICE, NFA, is not under any department now. It must remove from the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Nilagay yan sa office of the president. So you do not have any authority signing, lalo na with the, and besides, harvest time ngayon. Galing ako Nueva Ecija, the harvest is good. Per hectare, it's 3 times the original output. Bakit ka mag-import ngayon ng bugas? I-compete mo yung, hindi, patay ang farmers. Will buy the, so I am ordering si Jason Aquino sa anyway. Kung may pera ka, you start buying. You buy the rice of the local producers as if you really want a buffer. Unahin mo muna yung atin, pabawiin mo ang mga farmers, then if there is a shortfall, you might decide to import. In the meantime, when there is may surplus, huwag ninyong kumpetensyahan ang mga farmers natin. Is that not crazy? Patayin mo yung farmer dito. You approve an importation. Bakit sabihin ko sa kanya, bilihin mo na lang yung rice. Kung may pera si Jason Aquino, you buy the rice of the local planter. That is the proper way of governing the nation.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Lagi.
Ms. Ina Andolong of CNN.
Isa pa to. Maganda.
Hi, sir.
Wala na akong sinabi.
Sir, my question is on terrorism. The U.S. Embassy has just issued a travel advisory for its citizens, saying, and I quote, they received unsubstantiated yet credible information that terror groups may be operating in Central Visayas, and may special mention po ang Cebu and Bohol. Do you have the same information, and would you say
I
that
have
the
read
people...
it. Not from the military, but from the newspaper. And besides, kaya natin. Kaya natin. I remember I was talking to, before a crowd sa Lasal during the debates, but nobody showed up, and I was the only one. And I was asked this question: how will I treat terrorism? And I said harshly. I said harshly. So sa kanila na yan.
Sir, nabanggitin niyo you read it. I mean, what information do you have, sir? And would you say that people should refrain from traveling to Central Visayas?
Ang problema kasi nito is, marami naman tayong mga kapatid na Moro na wala namang ka-connection dyan sa, tong terrorism. But just because they are dressed in their native attire and they go about touring the Philippines, sometimes they are mistakenly identified. I want to be sure. But if you are a member of the Maoti, connected with the terrorist group of Abu Sayyaf, under the umbrella of Al-Qaeda or itong ISIS, ibang istorya yan. Pero I would like to advise my countrymen that the Moro people are our brothers and sisters. And we should not be eternally, forever be na parang matakot kayo. Mababait yan, hindi lang ninyo kinakausap. Parang ano yan sila ganon kasi kala nila, galit tayo sa kanila. But you know, they are all Filipinos like us, and we treat it as it is. But let me say it again, harshly. Saka hindi ako magpalugit. Bago sa'yo. I can do 10 times better than you.
Sir,
What's the next question? Inquirer.
no,
Ang inquirer may uta. No. ABS-CBN, inistapa ako niyan. ABS-CBN accepted my money kasi nung the later part of the campaign, doon pa ako nagkaroon ng pera, yung nag-hit ako ng, wala bang nagbibigay sa akin, wala akong pambayad. So when I got the money sa mga well-meaning supporters, nagbili ako ng airtime para naman masali yung pangalan ko sa, hindi lumabas, I paid. There's not even an offer of you, ABS, to return my money. No, do you know what is the crime? I'll tell you, it's very simple. Estafa. Tinanggap ko yung pera ko, hindi niyo in-air. It's estafa. And I remember one time, may nunsyo na bata, pinasayaw ng nanay, yung bata hirap na hirap. He was perspiring and was about to cry or crying. Did you put to task the incident? Sino ang pinagbinantangan ninyo? Ang i-demander ninyo? Yung nanay. Putang inang ABS-CBN, nung palabas ng objectionable na child abuse, nonchalant, maliwala. Like inquirer. Yung anak niyang si Bricio, hingi ng kopya. He was receiving more than the president of the salary of everybody, DAP or UP. 2 million 8. Anak ito, ang asawa to, anak ni Prieto. Wala akong narinig sa inquirer na hindi maganda yung nangyari. Tapos yung taxes ninyo, nilakad ni Inares, it ended up, wala kayong binayad. Tapos sabi niya, sana pera ng Pilipino. Bakit to? Nagpapataya na ang ng mga kadamay pati sundalo kasi nag-agawa ng ano. Tama ang left. Somehow itong left nakakatama minsan. There's no need to increase the tax laws. All we have to do is to collect. Meron pa akong sabihin tulo, wag muna ngayon. Ang salary ko as president, 130,000 lang ako. Hindi ako nagpipirma wala akong pinirman allowance of nothing. Yun lang. Ito sa kanila, basic salary. Kayo na lang magbasa, mapaiyak kayo. $2.4 million in compensation. According to the Commission on Audit, the Film Council Chairman Bricio Santos, the son-in-law of Inquirer, in 2013 received $2.4 million in compensation, while his executive directors, Teodoro Granados and Jose Miguel de la Rosa, were paid 1.8 and 1.7 respectively. The three film officers enjoy higher salary grades than the leading educators like the President of the University of the Philippines, Alfredo Pascual, and also the President of Development Academy of the Philippines, Antonio Calao. Inyo ito, bigyan niyo sa inquirer with all the journalistic hypocrisy, all of you. Sino ang taga-inquirer dito? Si inquirer ka man nun. Bigay mo ito. Sino ang inquirer nun? So, ikaw, anong question mo?
Going back po to, I'm gonna just press on my topic earlier, sir. So contrary to what the U.S. Embassy is saying, sir, for you, you're saying that there's nothing to worry about
Yes.
for travelers. Okay. In relation still, last ko na to, sir, on terrorism.
Why should I be worried about the embassy? I should be worrying about my country, not the embassy.
Sir, last week, a Syrian couple was arrested in Taguig. I don't know if you've been briefed about it.
Okay.
The female person arrested, former ex-husband po niya is reportedly an ISIS leader. I don't know if you've been briefed about it, but have we already extracted maybe information from them on how maybe ISIS or any terror group is operating in the country?
I don't know what you mean by extracted. Ang alam kong extract ang truth. May nakuha na ba kami tayo siguro information sa kanila kung merong totoo talaga o hindi? Well, kung may mga abogado napunta doon, I'm sure until now, they're still trying to figure out how to investigate. Especially kung magsabi sila that I need a lawyer and they will not talk. So we'll just have to respect that. Just like any other Filipino citizen in this country, be or she in Maranao, Maguindanao, or Tausog, they enjoy the same rights.
Very last, this is a follow-up to your pronouncement earlier dun sa Occupy po ng Pag-asa. Sir, can you clarify a bit on what you really mean by Occupy the islands? Because as it is, sir, the AFP is already occupying those islands.
Not
What
yet,
exactly
not
do you
fully.
want? What do you want to happen in those islands?
Structure and flag. The flag means it is already occupied. For all you know, just fishes folk there, nagpa-parking. That's why I'm not pronouncing the ownership of the islands. The Philippine Reeds, that is ours. So it cannot be open to any further exploration. We just have to get permission from us.
Thank you, sir.
Elias.
Samonte,
Yung isa oh.
and then Carol.
Padaplin-daplin na saan? Ay, ayun, ang inquirer. Ibigay mo. Okay, inquirer yan si Carol. Una ka. Tignan natin kung madipinsahan mo yan.
I am not connected with the inquiry,
Yes, I
Mr.
know.
President, but the Constitution also guarantees freedom of the press. Anyway, may I ask my question now? Okay, MNLF founding chair, Nur Miswari's 6-month provisional liberty is supposed to end by April 27, but his implementing panel has not met with the government panel formally. May I know what you and Chair Miswari talked about in your March 27 meeting, and are you going to call for a meeting of all the leaders of the Moro Revolutionary Fronts?
Yes.
So that there will be only one
That is what we
Bangsamoro draft law to be certified.
That is what we want. Miswari has talked to me and he asked me to give him time to craft an agreement within the MN, pareho rin sa MI, so they can firm up their minimum various demands within the infrastructure of federalism.
Yes.
So, wala ko. I know that he's supposed to be in prison, but, at some point in time, Carol, we cannot be forever quarreling with our enemies. these things are all almost 50 years ago. The Communist Front, the MI, MN.
Yes, sir.
So, ang sinasabi ko sa ano ba, mag-usap tayo, it's been 50 years. Or we prepare for another 50 years of fighting. Ako, I get sick in the stomach just thinking of it, really. Feels me giddy. Gusto ko magipag-usap para to everybody's satisfaction.
So are you going to meet with all the Moro
Yes.
revolutionary leaders? When will this
The
be?
ideal is that mayroon si Miss Wari dito, mayroon ang MI, sila Murad. Then we meet government panel and we come up with one
One law, one draft law.
consensus.
So you will certify as urgent only
Yes,
one
yes.
draft Bangsamoro law.
You are correct there. Yes.
So together na sila MN and the
Yes.
BBC.
I want the wars between the Filipinos ended.
Okay.
And besides, Carol, I cannot wage a war against my own people.
Okay, sir. Yung sa back to the BTC lang, you gave them a deadline of May 18 for submission to the Office of the President. So you will be able to study before you
Yes.
submit to Congress?
Hindi akin yan. It was not an imposition by me.
That's only about 1 month po from now.
They were shooting the breeze at one time.
The Department of Budget has not released its budget po.
Baka mag-iba na naman yung mukha ni Jukno na kausapin muna natin kung may pera ba.
Anyway, so may I go to my second and last question po?
Mm.
You signed on December 7 EO10 on the consultative committee that will study the Constitution, make recommendations to Congress, but you have not named the 25 members. You were quoted in some speeches as
I
saying...
will not name them until I get the hard copy of the agreements between the lot.
So you said in your previous speeches na you will wait for the BBL, but you will also wait for the JRP and the FP's agreement?
I have to look at the composition. The nuances, the bigotry, the penchant to, so I have to select the men who will craft the Constitution, vis-a-vis with the crowd here. Because apparently, Visayas and Mindanao are not yet ready to understand fully. Or if at all, para mas marami, di yung mga lugar na walang alam, karamihan galing doon. Total dito sa Mindanao area, we are all agreed that we need the law.
So will you also be waiting for the substantial progress in the
Dalawang suso na yan.
GRP
Suko
and
nila
DF?
ngayon, suna naman.
GRP and DF po?
What?
Are you going to wait also for substantive progress in the GRP and DF talks, particularly on the constitutional and political and constitutional reforms agreement, so that this can be incorporated in the consultative committee?
Look, yung aspirations ng komunista, and even if you look at it now, it's really the same aspiration of all Filipino. Halos pareho. We have to build our own industry. Sabihin nila, maraming mura ngayon. Mura ngayon. Kung magkagulo ang mundo, ante makuha ng steel natin. We steal mga wata o we make our own. So those are the things that they are asking, to which I fully agree.
So more or less, when would the 25 members be named?
Kayo man ang komunista, di mag-recommenda kayo ng inyo.
Thank you, sir.
Eunice Amonte of PTV.
Totoo man.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. I only have 2 questions po. Regarding your visit sa Middle East, sir, kasama po ba sa mga posibleng mapag-usapan yung mga kababayan natin na nasa death row doon? Mabibigyan po sila ng pardon or commutation of
Yes,
sentence?
they've been given the clearance. I will fly them home. Pagdating ko dito, dala ko na yung iba.
Lahat po sila, sir.
Dahil sa Jeddah yan. Those are given the permission of clemency to whatever it was, may clearance na about 5,000 of them. We'll start bringing them back. The first batch, pagdating ko, pagbalik, ang siyala. Nandito na yung iba.
Sir, posible rin po ba magkaroon ng memorandum of agreement sa pagitan ng Middle East at ng Pilipinas regarding sa mga OFW natin na naaabuso doon po sa parting Middle East?
Those were the things that we discussed the other day. I cannot make it public. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Salima Refran of GMA7.
Siguro, makatake off kami mga alas 6, okay na.
Hi sir, good afternoon po. Sir, over the weekend, reveal po ni Vice President Robredo that you will be having dinner with her and her family after Holy Week when you get back. Can we get more details from your end, sir?
I have not talked to her actually. I have not talked to her. Sinabi ko lang doon sa, ma'am, I forgot her, sa Ginaldo ba yan? Sabi ko sa siya, Mayor, siya yung nag-una, hindi ako kasali yan sa distab. Sabi ko, Mayor, if, Madam, pagka tingin mo kung gano'n, let's have a talk. Maybe over dinner time. So, walang intriga. You can bring your family. I can bring mine.
So sir, wala pa po talagang schedule?
Wala pa. Iharap ko siya kay Inday. Tingnan natin.
Sir, Sir, on another topic, medyo related po sa cabinet natin, are we going to see po other people leave in the next few weeks?
Wala. Except yung not our making. Ang hindi pa na-confirm sa commission of appointments. You can ask anybody, any congressman, any cabinet member now, any military man now here. Hindi minsan hindi ako tumatawag. There was only one time, tumawag ako kay General Anyo, Chief of Staff, when the cabinet started to break the ceasefire. So sabi na February 10, inunahan ko na, sabi ko ngayon na to resume the offensive.
Sir, last na, are we going to see new faces soon in your cabinet?
Sino ba talaga gustong palitan mo? Kaya palitan ko na ngayon. Interesado talaga. Sinadong wala except those who, because if they are not acted on time or if they are refused, hindi mo talaga ma-reappointment. The law does not allow it. If you are rejected.
Thank you, sir.
We will have to wrap up, Mr. President.
Meron. Siguro itong umabante ikaw. Akala ko kasi, wala na, alis na kami. Sino gusto sumama? Sama ka, Eme? Ayan, good. May abaya ka?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you so much, members of the press.